Hi everyone, welcome to DIY with Nancy. Today I'm going to share with you my recipe for lemon ricotta cake, Bolo de Limão com ricotta. This cake is super delicious, super moist, and super simple to make. Happens to be one of my husband's favorite cakes that I make here at home, and I hope you stay with me to watch how to make my lemon ricotta cake step by step. To make my lemon ricotta cake, I'm going to start off by sifting the dry ingredients. I have here 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I have a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and I'm going to add a pinch of salt. I'm going to sift that together into a bowl. Just like that. We're going to sift all of that in. And now I'm just going to set this aside and add this to our wet ingredients later on. On to the next step. I'm going to use my stand mixer to mix all the ingredients, and I'm starting off with 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. And to that I'm adding 3/4 cups of unsalted butter at room temperature. I'm using the paddle attachment to mix all the ingredients. I'm going to place my mixer on high speed and let the sugar and butter combine for approximately 1 minute. Okay, now my sugar and butter seems to be well combined. I'm just going to scrape down the sides of the bowl with the spatula just to make sure that the balance of the ingredients get well incorporated. Place the mixer on a low speed, and at this point I'm going to add the juice of 1 lemon. Place that in there. To that I'm going to add the zest of the same lemon into the mixture. Next I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and you can see that the mixer's still going while I'm adding the ingredients. So once you add your vanilla, place your mixer on high speed and let it mix for an additional 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, you want to reduce your mixer to a low speed, and at this point, I'm going to add 3 eggs. Now I'm going to add the eggs one at a time. You want to make sure that your eggs are well incorporated into the batter. So I'm going to add one at a time, just as I'm doing here. There's a second one. Ooh, that was close. Third one almost went in there. And you'll see it becomes more of a wet batter. It'll eventually become fluffy and thick, but we're going to place the mixer on high speed and let that mix for an additional minute. You want to make sure this batter is nice and fluffy. That should do it. The eggs are well blended in the batter. I'm going to stop the mixer. And now at this point, I'm going to add one of the main ingredients, which is the ricotta cheese, which I've drained. And I have here 1.5 cups of ricotta cheese. Just going to place that right into the batter. Now the 2 main highlights to this recipe is the lemon as well as the ricotta. So this ricotta cheese, like I said, it was drained, and now I'm placing it into the batter. We're going to give that a good mix. Make sure it's well incorporated before we add our last ingredient. Okay, that should do it. The ricotta is nicely mixed into the batter, and now I'm going to add the dry ingredients that I sifted earlier and added all into the batter. Now I like to sift the dry ingredients before, so that way all I have to do is add it into the mixture. And then now all I'm going to do is mix it slowly, because of course you don't want the flour flying everywhere. I'm going to start off slow, and then I'm going to move it on to a medium speed and let it mix, and you'll end up with a nice fluffy batter. So I'm going to let that mix for another 45 seconds. Okay, that should do it. We're done with the mixing. I'm just going to show you what the batter texture looks like. It's nice and fluffy. Just going to remove the attachment so you can take a closer look. Put that aside. Take a look at this batter. It's nice and fluffy. The color is beautiful. It smells amazing. And I'm ready to pour the batter into a prepared bake pan. For the next step, I have a 9-inch springform pan with parchment paper, a latch which is easy to remove the cake, and we're ready to prepare the pan so we can place the batter. Now for this step, you'll need 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter at room temperature and 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour. I'm going to start off by taking the pastry brush and the butter and coating the pan all the way around the sides and the bottom with the butter. Now that I have the pan completely coated, the bottom and the sides, we're going to move on to the next step. And now we're going to do the same thing with the flour. I'm just going to simply dust the flour on the bottom and the sides of the cake pan to make sure it's completely coated with flour, just as I'm doing here. Now if you have an excess flour in your pan, you want to make sure you remove that just by flipping it over and removing the flour just like that. And finally, we're ready to pour the batter into the cake pan. And that's what I'm going to do here, just pour it all in there. Now, just using my spatula, I'm just going to even out the top of the cake, spread it out evenly before I place it in the oven. Now the cake is ready to go in the oven. I'm going to bake it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 55 to 60 minutes. The lemon ricotta cake is out of the oven, and now I'm just going to wait until it cools down. So I'm going to wait about 15 minutes. Lemon ricotta cake is cool, and now I'm just going to place it onto a serving plate. So I'm just going to gently open the latch, and I'm going to remove the cake. Now there is some parchment paper in the bottom of the cake pan, and I'm just going to simply place it onto a cake plate. Now for the final touch and for the last step, I'm going to complete this cake by simply dusting about a tablespoon of confectioner's sugar right onto the cake, just as I'm doing here. And just like that, lemon ricotta cake is ready to be served. Here's my favorite part where I get to cut into the cake and show you what this lemon ricotta cake looks like. So moist and delicious. I wish I could share it with you, but at least I get to show you what it looks like and how it's made. I really hope you get to try this recipe. It's simple, yet so delicious. Here's the perfect slice of lemon ricotta cake. And there you have it, everyone. My recipe for lemon ricotta cake. Very simple. This cake is so delicious and moist. And if you have not tried this cake, I hope you do after you watch this recipe today. Within an hour and 20 minutes, the ingredients will be mixed up, the cake will be out of the oven, and of course you're gonna need to give yourself some time to cool the cake before you add some confectioner's sugar on top. But you know what? It's do it yourself. So if you do not want to place that confectioner's sugar onto the cake, it's gonna be delicious either way. I hope you all enjoyed the recipe today, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, everyone, thanks so much for watching. Take care. I'm gonna have a piece of the cake.